Okay, so for the past, we started late. We were trying to start early. So for the past 15 minutes, we have been trying to connect via internet.
Yes.
What? It's not my internet. Is it yours?
I even restarted the router. I restarted my computer. I restarted my phone. I've never seen this before. I have
Okay.
no clue.
We finally got connected. You're on the phone. Is that okay?
Yes, that's fine with me.
I'm totally okay with that. I don't care. But it's like whatever we're going to talk about, obviously, the devil's trying to keep us from talking about it.
Yes, something because this is a good one too.
Yeah. Okay. So let me back up. So we were talking, I don't know if it was on the phone or if it was a church. I think it was on the phone. Um, and you had asked me, "Hey Jack, you ever heard of strange fire?" And I'm like,
Yes.
"No, I've heard I, I mean something lights on fire by itself. That's kind of strange, but I've never heard the term, which is so stupid because I'm sure it's in the Bible and I've read it like at least 8 times. So you're about ready to teach me what strange fire or talk about, not teach me, because I don't know if it's good or bad. So I don't want to act like we're going to teach people how to do strange fire and it's something that's bad. Go ahead.
Right. and
So
and
basically, you're gonna just dive right in. So go right
all right.
ahead.
And this is one of those things where, like you said, I've read over this passage several times during my lifetime and just ran right over it and skipped right through it. And this time, for some reason, about 3 weeks ago, when I was going through the Torah portion, which is Torah portion Shemini, and which is Leviticus 9:1 through Leviticus 11:47. This
Right.
time the brakes, it slammed on the brakes and said, "Hey, this means something." And it took me about a year and a half to 2 years to figure out what in the world that was saying. So here we are.
Wow. Wow. A lot went into this video.
So here we are. And I'm going to give you the background and then jump right into it. All right.
Okay.
Leviticus 8 and 9, Moses and Aaron are preparing everything for the tabernacle for the first, I guess in English, what you would call inauguration or opening day.
Right.
And so they've been training for years and years and years, going through the rituals, going through the ceremonies, training all the priests what to do, when to do it, how to do it, so that when the day arrives for the inauguration, which would be what the Jews say Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, where the blood is sprinkled on the mercy seat by the high priest, God was supposed to show up, his
Right.
actual presence. So that's what happened. And here's what happened. And this is the last part of chapter 9. And it says, "The glory of Adonai appeared to all the people. Fire came forth from the presence of Adonai, consuming the burnt offering and the fat on the altar. When all the people saw it, they shouted and fell on their faces." So that's where we are.
Wait. So for people who don't know what you're referring to, the Torah is the first 5 books of the Bible.
Correct.
Okay. You're reading from what? Leviticus?
Correct.
Okay. Adonai is God, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you don't know these terms, he's throwing them around. And I'm like, wait, there's some people who don't know any of those terms. So okay, there's a ritual. By the way, the seat that you're referring to was at the mercy seat.
Yes, they had just got done putting the sacrifice on the altar and getting everything ready inside the tabernacle, which is lighting the menorah, putting in the incense, getting the table of showbread ready, so that the high priest could go in and sprinkle the blood on the mercy seat for the presence to God to appear.
Now realize for those of you who are watching, the video, Moses and the Levitical or the Levites could do stuff in the church, in the tabernacle. The Levites were allocated by God to be taking care of the building, the materials, everything related to the Ark of the Covenant and the tabernacle. Whatever needed to be done, whether it's put out new bread, whether it's light incense, that was their job. So one of the rituals during a sacrifice is a sacrifice. Sometimes you would splash blood on the altar during the
Yes.
sacrifice, right?
Yes.
And then God would, or Adonai, would come with fire and he would eat up all the sacrifice, basically.
Right. And you see the same thing when Elijah at Mount Carmel, when he called
Yeah.
down fire
Yeah.
from
I just
heaven.
thinking about that. Yeah. So now that we've given the rules and how it works, so now what? What happened?
So they've been practicing this for a long time. The day is finally here. The presence of God shows up. And then, chapter 10, you only get 2 verses. Here it is. But Nadab and Abihu, who are the Aaron's sons,
Right.
and I'll pause there. Anytime you have a high priest and a priest, your sons were next in line to be priests as well. If you're the high priest, then your firstborn son would be the next in line for the high priest. So
Got
they
it.
would be training to be a high priest all their lives until either dad passes away or he hands it down to you.
Got it. Like
So,
kings.
right, like kings.
Yeah.
So Nadab and Abihu was in that line of Aaron. Okay, so Nadab and Abihu, the sons of Aaron, each took their censer. The censer is the thing, if you've ever been to a Catholic church, it's like a lantern that they have incense on and they wave it like this and
Okay.
smoke.
Yep. Yep. I've seen that.
Okay, so each took their censer and put fire in it, laid incense on it, and offered unauthorized fire or strange fire. Most versions say strange fire before Adonai, something he had not ordered them to do. And at this, fire came forth from the presence of Adonai and consumed them, so that they died in the presence of the Lord. Moses said to Aaron, "This is what Adonai said. Through those who are near me, I will be consecrated, and before all people, I will be glorified." So that's the setting.
Okay. Why
And I've read
now?
that,
How do you offer fire? And they
and
lit
that's
the
what we're getting
incense?
to. And when I've read that several times, but then I said, well, wait a minute, what was the strange fire? And why was God so mad that he would kill him for it?
Could you imagine watching your kids just light up and die?
Right. And
That's
be
horrible.
consumed by fire, it says.
Wow. Yeah.
And this is, like I said, right at the time when the presence of God showed up. This is what all the people were waiting for.
Right.
And for the whole 3 days, 7 days before that, all the people were going through the rituals of being clean, going through the what we would call baptism, being cleaned by water. The sacrifices were offered, so on and so forth. So why was God so mad? Well, first, let me give you the word study.
Okay.
The word here in Hebrew for strange is called zarah, and it can have various meanings depending on how you use it. It can mean strange, foreign, offensive, estranged, even loathsome, and alienated from. It's a pretty broad spectrum, but it kind of goes together.
Okay.
And this word is used in 4 other places that I'm going to share with you so we get the meaning of the word from those contexts as well.
Okay.
The first one is Job 19:17, and it says, "My breath is," and here's the word zarah, and a lot of translations use the word repulsive. It says, my breath is zarah, or repulsive to my wife, loathsome to my family. And that's from the Berean Study Bible.
Right.
Proverbs 2:16 says, to deliver thee from strange woman, from the stranger who flatters her with words. And what that's talking about is a prostitute.
Okay. Why
And
didn't they just
Proverbs,
say prostitute?
and then I'm going, Proverbs 5:3 is same principle. It says, for the lips of a strange woman drop honey, and her mouth is smoother than oil.
Right.
So here you have it's being used for the term prostitute, what we would say. And what is a prostitute to a married man? Well, a prostitute is a strange or a foreign, offensive, and what we call estranged, which means now you're separating yourself from your wife and
Right.
from that relationship.
Right.
And then the last one is Proverbs 7:4. It says, say to wisdom, you are my sister, and call insight your intimate friend, to keep you from the forbidden woman, from the adulteress with her smooth words. Here they use the word forbidden, and you get the same meaning or the same context. It's something offensive, something forbidden, something foreign, all in the same. So you
Right.
see how they're using the word.
Right. Exactly.
So we're going to take those meanings and now apply them to this passage. And there are 5 most popular theories to explain what strange fire means. And
Okay. Well,
once I
thanks for explaining that part because that's important.
and here that I'm going to present them, and then we're going to look at more scriptures, and then I'm going to tell you each one which one the dots connect to. How's that?
Okay. Cool.
The first one is a very popular one through Jewish tradition and rabbis, and that one is they were either drunk or impaired somehow with alcohol. And the way they get that is Leviticus 10, that incident happened in verses 1 to 2, and a little bit down in verses 9, God finally says, hey, you priests are not to drink anything alcoholic while you're performing these duties or anything.
Oh, got it. Got it.
So that's where they get that from. Second theory is there's a presumption that their worship that they were doing here overstepped their rules or their boundaries, or I guess if you were to do it military terms, that you're a corporal and now you're acting like a sergeant or a lieutenant, and you're overstepping your bounds.
So let me get this straight. So basically, you're saying they may have been doing what the head priest should be doing.
Yes, that's the theory.
Got it. Okay.
All right, that's 2.
All right.
3, they entered into the camp, the tabernacle, and came upon the holy place. You got the holy place and then the Holy of Holies.
Yep.
And they entered in at the wrong time. That's theory number 3.
Right.
Theory number 4 is they offered a
Wow.
fire in a pagan style. They reverted back to paganism like the golden calf.
Okay.
And then the last theory is that the unauthorized fire came from a different source. So there's your theories. Now I'm going to walk you through the
Wait,
scriptures.
before you break it down, I'm going to tell you which one I think it was.
All right.
I
Please
think
do.
I think they did the ritual, and it's really horrible too. They overstepped their boundaries and they did what daddy should have done. But I still find it very harsh as a punishment to remove them off the earth,
Right.
to kill them. So I'm
Right.
having trouble picking that one. But that's what I
Right.
think happened.
And you would have to go back and look at what deserved death,
Right.
instant death. Right. So I'm going to give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 scriptures real quick and see if we can connect some dots.
No,
How's
go
that?
right ahead. I'm all yours.
All right. So Leviticus 6, all this is chapter 10. So we're going to go back a little bit in chapter 6. This is all Leviticus, by the way.
Okay.
Leviticus 6:10. And the priest shall put on his linen garment and linen trousers, and he shall put it on his body, and take up the ashes of the burnt offering, which has fire consumed on the altar, and he shall put them beside the altar. Then he shall take off his garments, put on other garments, and carry the ashes outside the camp to a clean place. And the fire on the altar shall be kept burning, and it shall never be put out. And the priest shall burn wood on it every morning, and lay the burnt offering in order on it, and he shall burn it, the fat, and the peace offerings. So here, it was the priest's duty to take the ashes of the burnt offering, put them aside, and then take them out every morning and dispose of the ashes outside the camp.
Right.
So you're with me on that one?
Yes.
Okay. So that's chapter 6. Now we're going to go to chapter 9, right before all this happened. On the altar he burned the fat, the kidneys, and the lobe of the liver from a sin offering, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Verse 11. But he burned up the flesh and the hide, the skin, outside the camp. So there was parts that were commanded to burn on the altar, and there were parts that were commanded to burn outside the camp.
Okay. All right.
All right. Now we're going to go to chapter 10, where we're at. Moses called Mishael and Eliphason, the sons of Uziel, the uncle of Aaron, and said to them, "Come here, carry your brothers away from the front of the sanctuary and carry them outside the camp." So he's talking about Nadab and Abihu who just died.
Right.
Where did they die? Obviously, it said here they died in front of the sanctuary.
Right.
Okay.
So wait, in front meaning outside the sanctuary right at the entrance? Or did they mean like the holy? Or
I don't think they made it to the first part, the holy place, because it didn't say they went in to go get them. It just says carry them away from the front, not from inside the front.
But I thought they were inside burning the incense.
They're in the camp. When you look at the tabernacle, you come in the front gate, and then you got the altar of incense.
Right.
I'm sorry, altar of sacrifice.
Right.
Where they put the animals and the blood. Then you've got the wash basin that they washed themselves. And then you go into the tent, which is the holy, and then the holy of holies.
Okay, I'm thinking they're already in the tent, but they're not.
Exactly.
Right.
They're outside the camp. All right. That's 10. Now we're going to chapter 16. And in chapter 16, verse 1, this is all the instructions for Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, once a year where they atone for the sins of the nations, the high priest.
Right.
16:1 says, "Now the Lord spoke to Moses after the death of the two sons of Aaron, when they offered profane fire before the Lord and died." And I looked up the word that they used here for offered profane fire, and in Hebrew it is bekrabatam, which means to approach, draw near, join, or offer or present. So something they did in the way they presented it or offered it or tried to approach God is what made him so mad.
Okay.
One more.
One
more.
Go ahead.
Here it comes. Hold on. Put your seatbelt on. We're going for a ride. Buckle up. Skip down to verse 12, same chapter 16. Then he, the high priest, must take the censer full of coals from the altar of sacrifice. Before the Lord, take 2 handfuls of finely ground fragrance incense, take them inside the veil. He is to put incense on the fire before the Lord, and the cloud of incense will cover the mercy seat above the ark of testimony, so he will not die. So where did the fire have to come from?
Above.
No, the fire for the censer.
Oh, the sacrifice, the
The altar of
burning,
sacrifice.
yeah, the continuously burning fire,
So
right?
there it is. I'm going to go back to the 5 theories.
It's still a mystery to me.
All right, here it comes. Here it comes. Don't miss it. All right, offering the fire in pagan style of worship. All right, they've been practicing this for a long time with very, 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 very specific instructions. And Moses was over it, and so was Aaron. And I mean, down to the wire. The glory of God just appeared, and everybody bowed down and was singing. So everything happened according to plan until Nadab and Abihu. So was it a pagan style of worship? There's nothing in those passages to give us that hint. And Moses and Aaron would have strictly forbidden it and put a stop to it, I think, before it even happened. Opinion. All right. They were intoxicated. That's number 2, the second theory.
Right.
There's no mention or reference here of them ever indicating that. And I'm thinking if they were intoxicated, number 1,
Yeah.
they were priests.
Right.
They probably wouldn't be the only one. That there would probably some of the other priests would have been drinking as too. But there's no indication of that. It doesn't say.
Right.
And God's commandment not to drink anything came after this incident, not before. Had it been commanded before, then you can be held accountable for it.
Right.
All right. Now, performed a ritual procedure beyond their priestly duties. There's no mention of what that ritual or procedure was, and Aaron and Moses would have stopped it before they went in. There's a presumption of being equal to the high priest in duties, but that was definitely not allowed. All right. Entering the sanctuary at the wrong time, that's number 4. It doesn't say this, and Moses and Aaron probably would have stopped that immediately. He says, hey, come back. You're not supposed to do that right now. Every detail was specifically spelled out once again.
Right.
Leaves us with one option. The fire did not come from the altar of sacrifice.
Got it. So
And here it is.
they lit the fire or got the fire from some other source, is what you
Yeah.
believe.
And here's why I read. Do you remember when I said they burnt the fat and the hide outside the camp? And I said they took
Yes.
the ashes outside the camp.
Yeah.
So there was ashes and fire somewhere outside the camp where they were burning those other parts.
Right.
So there was fire. There was
Right.
coals. And God commanded that only fire from the altar of sacrifice could be used to get into his presence when they went in the holy and the holy of holies. Only fire from that altar of sacrifice. All right. So why so mad? Any other fire, if it came from outside the camp, would be unclean.
Right. Exactly.
And anything unclean cannot be in the presence of God.
Right. No, I get it. I get it. So basically, the fire came from something other than the fire of sacrifice.
Yes, from outside the camp.
Right. And it's just like it's just like the guy who caught the ark from falling.
Yes.
Same thing. I still have trouble with that, by the way. Um, I still I still get bothered every time I read it, but they knew better. It's
Well,
not
I'm going to give you,
like, I mean, you die, you touch
yeah,
it, you die. That's real simple. You touch it, you die. And unfortunately, for God to keep, to keep his sovereignty or power or whatever, he has to follow through. He has to, because
yes,
you can't look at God straight on. He even
right,
told you that. So
right.
had Moses even looked at him straight on, he would have died. Just
Yep.
even because he was Moses doesn't matter. So
I'm going to give you the spiritual application. How's that?
all right, go ahead.
Remember, I said nothing unclean can get to the presence of God.
Right.
So that's why when something unclean, a fire that did not come from the altar, came into the camp and tried to go to the presence of God, he said, nope, that's it.
Right. No, I get it.
So for us, the fire represents in Acts chapter 2, when the day of Pentecost came, they had tongues
Oh,
of fire,
right. The Holy Spirit.
the
It
Holy
was,
Spirit.
yeah.
So if you have an unclean spirit within you, it cannot be in the presence of God.
And I'm sure, I mean, we aren't told this, but I'm sure the process was hammered into them.
Yes,
Being the
yes,
son of the head priest,
yes,
you better cross every T and dot every I when it comes to
yes,
God.
yes,
So I wouldn't play it off like whoops. No, there is no whoops. It's
yes.
God.
That's right.
Okay. It's there are no mulligans.
No,
You screw up, just like when you come in front of the Lord and you haven't accepted Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, there are no makeups.
that's
That's it.
correct.
Yeah.
You can't
And
come to his presence unclean.
people are gonna feel it the same way. People are gonna be like, oh yeah, well, we need a second chance. No, this isn't like earth.
Yes,
This is the heavens. This is God. You don't get a second chance. We have made
unfortunately.
that very clear, by the way. So yeah, I can see it now. Um, it's 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 just like when they lied about selling their house, their
Yep.
property, and
Yes.
they lied, and by bringing something. Oh, we're running out of time here. But by
Oh,
bringing something unclean is almost like grieving the Holy Spirit.
yes.
Yeah, it's like you think that little of me. You
Yes.
really think that little of me? You've been told what would happen. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So strange fire is unclean fire.
Yes.
Okay, this is good stuff. Every time I do a video with you guys, I'm always learning. I'm always learning. So my big clock is waving at me that we're running short on time. But what I want to do is I want to talk to you more about other things. Are you okay with coming back?
Oh, absolutely. Would love to.
Oh my goodness. There you go, guys. Strange fire. And if you have any comments, you can leave it down below. Once again, you saw the process. You saw how he went to the original translation. You saw how he looked at multiple examples. This is what's on his heart. You're not, I mean, we can't say, unless it says word for word, strange fire was unclean fire, but everything points to it. Wow. My mind went, Totally cool. All right. And really quick, can you tell me your YouTube channel? Because I know you have one. If you
Yes,
can.
YouTube YouTube channel is it's called the Wright WRIGHT Word.
Okay. Because your last name is right.
That's correct.
Right. It's WRIGHT.
Correct. Right.
Word. WORD. Right.
That's
Okay.
it.
Please go subscribe. You can talk to him about other topics throughout the Bible. He loves to jump off and dive right in.
And I'll tell you very quickly,
Yeah.
there's a there's a 10 series, a 10 video series on the tabernacle on that channel.
Oh my goodness. It's
And it
almost
goes
like going
over
back to
every piece.
school.
It goes over every piece.
That is so cool. Hey, brother, I love you much. We
Brother.
will do this again. We'll do this absolutely.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thanks again. We'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Bye bye.